I studied psychology mainly. I had such a limited and shallow understanding of the place that I actually was from. So then I wanted the most amazing creative creature in myself. And if I buy these shoes, I will crack the code of the universe or whatever nonsense garbage. Only those lonely eyes. Hello and welcome to Masala Chaat, a chat show where we will sit with your favorite stars and serve you a hearty dose of laughs, stories and insights, topped with a sprinkling of masala.
I'm going to do the voice because our guest today is one of the most unique and special actors of his generation. In brackets, of any generation. His range in the choice of roles and the magic he brings to every performance of his has truly made him one of those few actors for whom you can wholeheartedly say there are none like him. Here is the one and the only, in the truest sense of the term, Jim Sarbh. All right, Jim, you got this great movie coming out called Pune Highway. It's
This summer.
this May. It's out.
May is summer.
Pune, the summer blockbuster season begins
Exactly.
with Pune Highway.
Exactly.
Which is out mid-May at some point of time. It's a film adaptation of...
Is it releasing in places other than Pune?
I think it is.
Does it has an India-wide release?
It has an India-wide release. It's going to be out in theaters. It's called Pune Highway. It's a film adaptation of a very successful play.
Yes.
Were you a part of the play as well, Jim?
No.
You weren't a part of the play, Jim?
In fact, I have not seen the play.
You haven't seen the play?
I haven't seen it. I've just read the synopsis.
But you've heard about the play and how
heard about
it
the
was...
play a lot. And actually, the three actors in it are very, very talented theatre actors. So the one that I knew of, it was Bugs, who's the director.
One of the directors of the play?
One of the directors acted in it. Rajat Kapoor. And
Rajat Kapoor?
The Rajat Kapoor and Rehan Engineer.
Oh my God, Rehan Engineer. But Pune Highway, and it's got... it's also co-directed by a legend.
Yes.
Mr. Rahul Lacuna.
Indeed.
Himself. Have you worked with him on stage?
No, I've never worked with... I worked with Rage.
Okay.
But he wasn't directing.
All right.
Yeah,
So...
yeah. Rajat Kapoor was directing.
Rajat Kapoor was directing.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good, great. Glass Menagerie, good play. Big role,
that's
really
a great
meaty.
play.
Yeah.
But you've done a lot of theatre. Theatre was your starting point into acting?
Yeah,
When you got into... And you've done theatre across the world.
I have.
Yes? You were...
Yeah.
You can... I mean, we can say that.
Yeah.
Have you studied acting?
Some
Have you...
confidence.
Have you...
No, I never studied acting. I did take a couple courses at Emory because there's, it's that, what's the word called? Liberal arts. So
Okay.
you have a focus which is your major and then you can take a bunch of other things as long as you hit all the credits that you need to hit. So
All right.
there'll be some math credits and there'll be some science credits and there'll be some humanities credits. And so you can take these variety of courses and the options are incredible, really incredible.
And so acting happened there, where you chose acting in one of the majors?
Yeah. No. I studied psychology mainly.
Psychology was...
Yeah, but you
what
could do
studied.
these extra courses. So each semester, let's say you were finishing your psychology credits, you could also take an acting course, you could also take a literature comparative
So that's-
literature course, you could take a anthropology course, whatever got your interest. And they were amazing options. Again, every time I think back, I'm like, wow, we were spoiled. We were spoiled for choice.
And how did you come to India? How did you happen to come to India after doing all this theatre in the States? And
I was just there for a year after college, and I don't know, I got this itch that I wanted to be back and I wanted to see the country I was actually from better, because it's weird. I was at the Bombay International School, then I went to the American school because my parents thought we'd move back to Sydney. We never moved back to Sydney. And I realized, I guess after these 5 years that I had such a limited and shallow understanding of the place that I actually was from. So then I wanted to come back.
you're going to come back to India. And then...
And I got really into spiritualism, in my year post college. Yeah.
Like that's pretty early in life to get
I guess.
into something
I don't
like
know.
that.
I was just like, what is the experience of enlightenment and, all of this stuff. And so then the year after I came back, actually, I spent kind of wandering around. I spent 5 years in an ashram, and then I walked around the Himalayas for a while, walked up to Gangotri, Gaumukh, crossed the glacier, lived with a Moni Baba for 2 days, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
That actually did, right?
Yeah.
The lines are blurring, ladies and gentlemen.
No, for real. And then I was in the mountains somewhere in Dharamkot, which is above Makliodganj.
Okay.
And there somebody cast me in a play. One of his actors had dropped out, and he was like, "Would you read the play? Would you like to do the part?" I was like, "Yeah, where is it? Where is it playing?" And he was like, "In Goa. So we'll be in Goa and rehearse for 2.5 months there before doing the show." I was like,
sign me up. I'm in. I'm in for that one. And so what's this enigma? Come on.
I don't think
there's
I don't think there are any major secrets. And if there were, I definitely wouldn't tell you.
Not your own.
Definitely not.
You put it. But what's this illusion that people feel like? Is it something that you've also heard people tell you ever, or like it's?
I guess I just don't put too much of my private life out there.
Right.
I think it just comes with that.
Right, because
it's just that simple.
We're in an age where you're just supposed to share.
Well, I guess people do, and people like it, and I get it. It just seems like then when do you know when your entire life turns into some kind of a performance, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, everyone is performing at all times. To a certain extent, everyone is slightly different around everyone else. Different people unlock different things in different people. What is really the self? I don't really believe it exists.
The self.
Yeah. I think this individualism is like a thing sold to us in the last 20 years in order to sell more products.
Which are out there, which are thrown in our face all the time.
You need to be your own man, so buy this thing. Show your individualism with this new item that
and then
many other people can also buy. That's essentially. I really do think that that's the whole pro-individualism thing is just a marketing exercise.
As is a whole lot of other things, right? Like this, everything is becoming a marketing exercise at a different level nowadays.
There is no individual. You think of me one way, he thinks of me one way, he thinks of me one way, she thinks of me another way, my mother thinks of me a different way, my partner thinks of me a different way, my cat thinks of me a different way. So who am I?
Yeah, and
I mean, even the innermost secrets, the innermost mysteries that you're seeking in this podcast, I don't know them.
Right.
I mean, maybe somebody else would get a better read on me.
And the perceptions are changing constantly.
They are.
Like, I had a perception of you right before you came in here, and now after you're going to leave, I'm going to
have a different
I'm going to think of you differently.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's just going to...
And someone else will be like, oh, unapproachable. And you'll be like, unapproachable?
No,
not at all.
We were doing voices.
Whereas, given another day, say I'm not in a very good mood, say something has happened in the car, I've walked in here, I'm not in a good mood. Instead of... you making my life easier by saying, hey, is everything okay? Or,
Right.
Hope you're comfortable, blah, 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 blah. You may take that as like, oh, he doesn't want to be here.
Right.
When it could have nothing to do with you. I think a lot of the times things don't have anything to do with anyone else.
They don't, right?
I think they're just things that happen. We take everything personally because, again, we're taught to believe that there's this individual consciousness where I am separate from my environment and I am special as a consequence and I'm the most amazing creative creature in myself, and if I buy these shoes I will crack the code of the universe, or whatever nonsense garbage. None of it is true. We're all communities. They're communities within us. Without like thousands of microbiomes in our stomach, we aren't even human. Are you in control of those microbiomes?
No,
absolutely not.
We don't know what's going on in there,
man. They
man.
exist within you as they exist. I mean, that's the whole thing with the study of mushrooms these days, right?
Okay.
The study of mushrooms is still quite nascent, right? It hasn't happened over that many years, so they're still figuring things out. But basically, all studies of mushrooms essentially teach you that nothing is a thing by itself. Like, if you take a cross-section of a plant that is flourishing, in that plant you'll find a variety of fungi that exist and have been cohabiting with this plant for years and years and years, and they've developed these like bonds. And so then that bond is what actually makes them survive. So inside us, similarly, there are all of these micro bacteria and things that aren't us, but they grow inside of us and they live inside of us.
We're there.
And only through them can we digest food and live. So who are we? We are just part of a larger system.
Right, okay.
No, but that's also what's beautiful about a play. And that's also what's beautiful about a film. Like take Pune Highway, for example, if we have to talk about Pune Highway.
We're back to Pune Highway, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. If you take Pune Highway, it's a story of a community of friends. All of these friends are so connected because they lived in the same building, right? So in a way, you could say Pune Highway is the story of the building.
Right.
In a manner of speaking, right? Because there are all these friends existing within one organism, which is this building, and they all meet on the roof and they discuss the day and they discuss what has happened, and they've been doing it since they were kids. So now they're this living, breathing entity, which is the friends. Suddenly something happens.
And
suddenly you don't know, you have to question your friends who you've known for so many years, who you thought you knew like the back of your hand.
They would never do something like that.
They would never do something like that. Maybe they did. Oh my God. What does that mean?
Now what?
Now what? Maybe you need to reconsider your oldest relationships. Maybe they managed to trick you somehow. Maybe you're not so clever as you thought you were.
All of that happens.
And then, of course, there's nagging doubts constantly, which is, I can't even believe that this could be the case.
That's the journey.
Yeah, where does evil lurk, right?
And you, throughout your career, have had the opportunity to work with some fabulous filmmakers, some fabulous directors, right? So, anyone that really stands out, like an experience when you were directed by, for example, like a Mr. Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who you worked with twice, right?
Yeah.
In two very special films.
Yeah.
You had very diverse roles.
Very different. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so...
Both are similar insofar as they were besotted
by
their lead or by the person that they're...
Right.
But in two very, very different ways, you know. The advantage of both is both were unrequited, right? But one man was a lot more proud and dangerous,
right,
and the other man a lot more gentle and accepting. But it's interesting that thematically they do that, have that in common. And I'm only thinking about it right now since you've said this, actually.
So that could also be a reason why Mr. Bhansali thought that you could do both the roles.
Yeah, he's good at playing a spurned lover.
Yeah, let's get him. He's got that pain. He's got that pain on his face, in those eyes.
He's got those lonely eyes.
We're looking at Jim's lonely eyes now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a moment. But you've also got that. All right, we're still being lonely. Jim, you've also got that little antagonist in you, with that surge of violence, like when you did a Nirja.
Well, it depends on the roles. It just depends on the roles.
When we saw,
sorry.
Yeah.
But like, for example, in Gangubai, the guy was supposed to have almost no violence.
Right.
That's also very, very pleasurable to play. It just depends on the role.
You were a nice guy in that.
He was a very nice guy.
Yeah. You're generally a nice guy.
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie and I'm like, Jim plays nice really well too. Like, because we're so used to watching you, I think up to that point, not play the quintessential nice guy.
Yeah, I think there is a certain lack of imagination at play, one, but there's also this other thing which is more like, until you see something, you don't believe it. That's also just kind of what's going on, right? So you have to show the person that it's possible for them to believe that it's possible.
Otherwise, you keep getting cast as this and as that. But you've been able to break quite a bit of a mold, because for an actor to do that role of Nirja, which was so intense and so evil, and then you did a movie called Rapta after that as well, where again you were the antagonist in that. Padmavat as well has a lot of those shades, so to speak, and then to go on and do a Made in Heaven, which and a FOMO Shots very recently, which is you just playing cool, suave, rich, and just playing.
Yeah.
So how does that move for you from all these roles to then to do these roles? It's just like
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's seamless. It's
I think so.
but for a lot
Like
of
in
actors,
theatre, it's not like that's all that I did, right? So
Right.
I did such a variety of things there. And then,
and then I'm going to come to my favorite performance of yours, which is in a great show called Rocket Boys. My God, Jim.
thank you.
That first episode of season 1.
Yeah.
I've rewatched it at least like 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's one of the best episodes of TV, of a show that we've ever made.
Oh,
man.
wow. Thanks, man.
And you know, there's that scene in the library where you're on a ladder and
Yeah.
oh my God, Jim, you were doing it so well.
That scene
The
was
way
so
you-
fun to block.
The way you were speaking, just everything was coming like you were saying those words like you were singing those words, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
And those are
Thank
not easy words to do the thoughts behind that entire character because it's such a
Actually, you know, I love that scene. Now that you're saying it, I really love it particularly because of the blocking. The
right.
blocking and the
you
camera
move,
movements,
you're on the
right?
chair, you slide
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
and
slide
then
in,
you
go
back.
up there, pick
Yeah,
things
yeah,
up,
yeah.
talk to somebody else on the side, go back to the guy that I'm dealing with. Actually, we thought a lot about what makes somebody seem like a genius or somebody who thinks faster than all of us. It's their ability to multitask as well to a certain extent, and also that to avoid very stilted blocking, which does sometimes become the case of just two people
Just having a
sitting,
chat, yeah.
camera. You know, I could have been busy with something. Look up, talk to Vikram Sarabhai, go back, look down. But then it gets this feeling of like, well, what's he doing? What is he actually doing? Does he have so much time in his day to interview a random student that has come in to talk to him that wants, you know, to... no, he's like in the middle of 10 things. The student
Yeah.
is, by the way, he doesn't know that he's Vikram Sarabhai. He's just a guy. He's just a kid that's come. So he's in the middle of 10,000 things. He's arguing with Raman. He's getting this out. He's pulling this out. This conversation is happening. That conversation is happening. All the while, he's looking for something to solve a larger picture, a larger problem that has nothing to do with the two of them. I love that. That's when the director and the DOP come together to create that kind of a blocking. Your job is half done. And anyway, I love putting things in my body a bit more than I can sit here and we can have the whole conversation like this, but it's a lot harder to play what I'm itching to play.
Right.
Whereas all of the movement, all of that stuff just makes it all much crisper and neater and clearer in my head as well of who the guy is.
And then still, when the lines come out that smoothly the way they were, you get the character. You're like, oh my God, as you said, that he's going to make the world a better place. You know, right? This man is going to do that.
Well, he's going to
eventually.
do things.
He's going to do things. Right. He'll make it better, make it worse. We don't know, but stuff's happening with him.
Exactly.
And then but I absolutely.
As
love-
opposed to a character who's supposed to be full of agency and full of this maverickness, right? And then they just don't do anything in the scenes. They're just always talking. They're just always
and
sitting there
it's just
talking.
Like, yeah.
I mean, if I walked into Steve Jobs' office and he was like, "Oh, hi, Jim, please sit down," and then sat across from me and had a long discussion with me, I'd be like, "Oh, Vela hai kya? He has no job." Right? Yeah, well,
Steve
who am
Jobs
I,
has no
dude?
jobs going on
exactly,
right now.
Exactly. What's going on?
Yeah. There was another very special film that you did called Death and the Guns.
Death and the Gunge.
Yeah, that was directed by Konkana
Yeah.
Sen, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's like a great piece with a whole bunch of you who've
Great
all like
cast.
just done some phenomenal work in their careers. And how is it just working with a piece where they're all coming from like a different place, but they're all doing this together? And how does that come together?
It's
for
funny
you?
because Tilottama, Ranveer, Kalki,
Gulshan.
me, had all just done a play together.
Oh, all of you had done a play together.
Just done it,
Oh,
before
great.
going off to shoot this. And we've known Gulu for ages. I guess Vikrant Masi, we didn't know. I didn't know as well. I don't know about them. And I had never met Tanuja ma'am and Om Puri. But they were so good. Just was so easy. There was no major stress on that shoot at all. It was just a pleasure to act with everybody. They were all so good, so well prepared. It was great.
Have there been experiences where you've been on a set and you've just something's not worked for you as
all the time.
as like an actor
All the time.
or with someone from the crew or cast? Yeah, like, and how do you deal with that, man?
I mean, it's so many people for so many days. Of course, there's going to be friction at some point. And you try to be an adult about the friction, and you move on if you can.
And you go and do your stuff.
Yeah, you go and do your stuff, or you bring it up, or that day you're off, or the direction isn't really going with how you saw the character, or the costume isn't going with how you saw the character, or the whatever. These are just things that happen, and I guess you have to. Fight for what you're interested in, or what you're trying to achieve, but also have a healthy amount of infinity is on the head of a pin types, So like even within this, you can do what you want. Even within this context, you can do what you want. And sometimes the most interesting things that happen is when there's a difference between what you're trying to do versus what the director wishes for you to do, and that push and pull may create a third thing that neither of you imagined, So I think it's always good to have those conversations, hear what the other person's perspective is and why they've decided upon that, and then decide how you want to proceed. Like, there may be good reasons or there may be bad reasons. Depends.
But there are reasons, and whatever's happening.
But there are reasons.
Yeah.
They're their reasons,
Jim,
Yes.
so Pune Highway is out in soon.
Yes.
And listen, I'm very excited to see it. I genuinely love watching you on screen. You do some really special things.
Thank you.
Which truly make you very unique, man. And when I said right at the top that there is none like you, it's true. I don't, if I see you in a particular role, and I always feel, because, as an actor, you feel that, who else could have done that role? Like, this one also would have been nice in that particular role. There are very few roles of yours where I feel we could have got another actor to do this. And you bring a certain, it's the edge, it's the grace, and it's just, there's something studied about all your performances, but it's never in your face
A little
studied.
too studied. No, you're right.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's a good note, actually. Sometimes should be more out of control also.
But I feel it's not, because it might come across as kind of studied like, अरे यार Jim को तो सब पता है यार, इसको ये पता है ये क्या कर रहा है. But when you go through a whole performance, I feel at the end of it, no man, he got a certain innocence to it as well. And that is something that, it's a great blend that you have as an actor, and I really appreciate that about you, man.
Thank
I really
you, man.
appreciate
Thank
that about you. And I wish you all the best for Pune Highway. And I wish you all the best for everything that you're going to do, because I feel you're just getting warmed up, man.
Thank you.
I genuinely feel you're getting warmed up. 10, 12 years in, all these films, all these shows that you've done. 2016 was Nirja, right? 9 years in, all these films, all these shows, all these roles that you've played, all these characters that you've been. I'm really looking forward to what's coming next, man.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best. We at Masala wish you all the best, man. And thank you. Thank you for what we had today.
Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.